guys. Well, I guess welcome to this, this video, and the may seem incredibly similar to the other one that we have just done. You know, which one is, which video, video in the, ranking all, like which skin was the worst, which skin was the best, the 5 brawlers with the best skins overall, the 5 brawlers with the worst skins overall, the 5 worst skins, and the 5 best skins. Well, now we're just gonna look at the brawlers themselves, with the attack patterns, the damage that they deal, the super, and bonus points for the quote-unquote killer bomb. I'll give you an example right now. This takes a little while, but it's gonna be worth it, at least for me. Yeah, some killer bombs require the super, while some killer bombs require just a normal attack. This one requires a super. Yeah, it deals a ton of damage. Yeah. But once again, those are only bonus points, so I don't really think that this will change the best and worst that much. Anyways, then we will get into the best brawler out of all of those. Because that would actually determine the best brawler in my opinion, and the worst brawler in my opinion out of all the worst brawlers in my opinion. Let's start off with the trophy road. For me, yeah, has to take the best spot. I mean, I really like her attack pattern, and whenever if I use her as an example for the killer bomb, well, probably because she has the best example of the killer bomb. I mean, it's super effective and also very fun to actually use. Which some of these characters have tedious to use killer bombs, and this is not like that. And yeah, she doesn't have the biggest amount of health ever, but that's not really a problem, as she can deal a ton of damage, especially when it comes with the power 10. I mean, seriously, just look at this. You can annihilate a lot of other brawlers because of this. Also, not intended, but while she has a star power, she actually deals 420 damage while also having 5 power cubes. Once again, this is not intended, and this won't really add to the reason, but I just find it a little bit hilarious. I have to use my super again. Basically, the super is attacking and slowing down enemies. But why is this useful? And why is this really useful? Also, I wanted to show you what the gadget does. Like, it doesn't do that much damage, but it knocks someone back. Oh, why can't I show this? Okay, but this is mainly useful when you're trying to do either just a little bit more damage, or when you're just trying to knock the player into the poison clouds. Now for the worst, it's gonna be quite controversial. I really don't like Brawl. Yeah, he does deal quite a lot of damage, especially with a star power. But really, I just don't find him that fun to control. He's almost tedious to control in a way, and I don't play as him unless I have a cast or something. Because he's generally, for me, just not fun to control. He has way too slow reload speed for his really tedious to use projectiles. Yeah, pretty much none of the aspects that I said were good. But, I don't think he's necessarily the worst brawler ever. Why not? Because at least he does a ton of damage with his attack. But that's really the only saving grace. As if it wasn't for that, I think he would have been the worst brawler. Easily. Next up, we're getting into the rare brawlers. Oh. So, between Tail, Barley, Foco, and Rock. Yeah. You obviously know which one is the best. I know some people will agree. I think most people would agree with this. I've seen many people say that Rosa is the best rare brawler. But I don't think they really considered her anything more than a rare brawler. But I really do think that she would be at least a mythic brawler. Which sounds ridiculous, but trust me, she does so much damage. And she has a ton of health as well. So it's not like, yeah, just because she has a short range, that doesn't mean that it's bad. Not even close. Because she does so much damage, the attack patterns are really cool, the super helps out a lot, and pretty much everything about her is really good. Pretty much mythic brawler level. Now let's get into the worst rare. Poco. He is decent, I guess. I mean, he really isn't excellent. His star powers are decent enough, I suppose, but that doesn't change, and that doesn't do much. And even if you could say that they do something, well, his normal attack doesn't do much damage. I am kind of tedious to control as well, and it's not even his real speed to blame. It's just that I don't like controlling him. The range is kind of weird, and many more things. Also, the hitboxes for his attack are just as weird as the range itself. Also, sometimes, the star powers might not even help you out at all. Unlike some other... And yeah, sometimes you may need to catch it. Or stuff like this. And I can finally prove that this is actually useful. Yeah. Really, this super just isn't as good. Yeah, I get it, a whole lot of health, but really, I don't find it that useful outside of very specific circumstances. Next, we have 5 super rare brawlers. The best one is, without question, Jackie. But why is she the best super rare brawler in my opinion? Well, basically, again, because of her attack pattern and her gadget and star powers are really useful. Yeah, there is one that just doesn't do much. I mean, pretty much every day you would prefer Counter Crush over Hardy Hard Head, but even Hardy Hard Head actually has some uses. Like, if you're just being bombarded with attacks, you're being dealt a lot less damage. Also, depending on how much damage you take, you actually can give out that same, the 50% of that same damage to the opposing players, which is really funny. Also, you can just annihilate multiple brawlers in one hit, which I also find really funny. And pretty much everything about her is good again. But I just don't think the suit is good. But the gadget is kinda useless. And super attracts. And I guess it is useful sometimes. But other times you would actually want to avoid using it. I mean, sometimes you could use it just for a shield, which is also very useful. But other than that, I don't see many uses. For super, even with that, she is a really good brawler. I would say she'd be an epic brawler at the very least. As for the worst, it's hard. I mean, I guess he is decent for a superhero brawler, but I just don't find it as good as the other superhero brawlers. I mean, really, if superhero brawlers are counted based on how good they all compare, then Cross should be a rare brawler, not a superhero one. And yes, he does have some really good skins, but the skins don't matter when it comes to actual gameplay. And yes, he sometimes can deal a lot of damage. But not even that is impressive if he's just so slow with his attacks. Not saying that his realistically is slow, as it is quite fast, but I just don't like controlling him either. I many times can get stuck in scenarios, but yeah, this is not good. Also, well, yes, sometimes you could use a really clever trick to escape from other opposing brawlers. I just don't think it's that useful of a trick. And also, it's very easy to miss. Yeah, it applies to other brawlers as well, but it's especially obvious with Brawl. Now you have 6 separate brawlers. The best one for me has to be between Frank and Lenny. The better one out of two is Frank. Well, yeah, the skins are awful. His actual attack patterns in Super are really good. Yeah, the range is kind of weird on Frank as well. I mean, I don't understand why. Maybe like this. But it deals a lot of damage. Which is actually a problem that I have with Poco. Because he doesn't deal a lot of damage, even though his range is pretty much the same as Frank's. Well, yes, you definitely cannot compare the two. I just found it kind of weird that it's less than half of the damage. Anyways, that aside, he probably has the most health out of any brawler. And yeah, with his star power, yeah, some of them can be really cases. The first one may be extremely useful, while the other one may be extremely useful in other scenarios. So basically, in no scenario, both star powers are useless. They're useless. And that's why I like this star power. Because they're really good, and this gadget actually helps out a lot. Because most people are gonna use stun attacks or knockbacks in order to stop people. But Frank can just avoid that. Anyways, for the worst epic brawler, here's the Team Piper and B. But the worst one out of two is B. Not only does she have terrible skins, but her attacks are just kind of weird as well. I mean, I don't even find her that fun to use. And once again, just like with Carl, she is just way too slippery to control. Her gadget is almost completely useless. Unlike Brawley, because he actually She can do a lot of things with the gadget, but oh, what? I was like, why is he so dumb? Whatever. Also, yes, her supercharge can be reloaded one more time in order for it not to be wasted. Yeah. Still don't see many reasons why you would like be over another epic brawler. I do see a lot of reasons why she would be better than other brawlers in general. And also her first star power is quite useful, as well as the second one. And her super goes out a curve. But that actually harms her even more. The curve can sometimes make it harder to hit players. Yeah, so sometimes it may make it a little bit confusing for the opponent, and that way you can just hit them. Yeah, the curve is just not good. Also, you can waste your supercharge even if you don't want to do that. Well, yes, with she does a lot of damage, but the real Tsuna is also incredibly slow. So yeah, pretty much all these aspects give her the worst spot. Now you have 6 mythic brawlers. And between the best is going to be quite controversial because they are often considered among the worst mythic brawlers. Terra and Genie. But the better one out of two is Terra. I really like both of her star powers. They're incredibly useful. Her attack power is really great, and her gadget is awesome. It's not like her super is completely useless either, because it's far from it. You can actually attract players and stop them from attacking completely for a brief moment. Yeah. Few super attacks can actually beat this. And while yes, Frank can just cheese that. For the other brawlers, it's impossible. And they pretty much just have to go in the super. Like, they can't avoid it. And sometimes that may be really good, because you may need to do just a little bit more damage to them. And then you deal that little amount of damage you needed because of super, and they couldn't avoid the attack. That's why I find Terra for the best mythic brawler. Now for the worst, it's also going to be quite controversial because many people consider these two to be among the best. Mortis and Max. And trust me, I have tried all of them with gameplay, and that's why I can make this. The worst one out of two is Max. Yes, she may have cooler star powers, but really only one of them actually helps, while the other one is completely useless. I mean, come on, seriously? Reloading faster while moving, when she already has a very fast reload speed? That just is completely useless and doesn't help at all. Anyways, I really don't like her super eater, as, yeah, she may go faster, but actually that is another opportunity for her to be slippery. And slippery as heck slippery. Anyways, well, I guess she can avoid some attacks with that. Other than that, I don't find her that useful. And yes, her gadget may be amazing, but literally every other aspect about her is kind of lame. Like, not even mythic brawler level of lame. Kind of like bees lame. But not all the way to super rare, because I mean, both of them just pretty much could move down. And that's not good. You don't want to have a specific wall and move down. But sincerely, I think BMX were in the same Actually, the same update, and they were giving the exact same qualities, which is basically making them basically a slightly better version of each other. And maybe it's just a slightly better version of B. He should be moved down to super, and Max should be down to the same level of epic as Piper, to me at least. But now let's get into the legendaries, where it's seriously controversial. Spike is considered the worst legendary, but I honestly really like him. He's still not the best legendary though, because the best one in my opinion is Crow. And don't wonder why. His first gadget is very useful. His second gadget is also very useful. And the star powers are great, especially extra toxic when they actually deal less damage to you. It's pretty cool. Like, you deal less and less damage, and you deal more and more. That may seem like it's overpowered. It's not, but yeah, it's really good. His attack patterns are great. The fact that he actually can poison attacking is also really good. It's really good because he can actually just go away and charge his super a little bit. Well, yes, he most likely won't charge it completely. I still find it pretty good. And also you can just literally snipe people. Like when when they're at the very little health, you can literally just snipe them from far away. And they can't do anything about it, really. Also, the super can be seriously destroyed. Especially if you're stuck to the player. I mean, if you're literally stuck to the player, that super will deal 5,000 damage. And power 1. Yes, that's freaking power 1. It deals 5,000 damage. As for the worst legendary, yeah, I'm not sure if many people would agree or disagree with me on this one. I found Sandy to be the worst one, and some people also consider Sandy to be the weakest one. But the thing is that many people don't agree is that Sandy should be lower down from legendary. Yeah. For me, it would be for the better. As his range is kinda stupid. His reload speed is only slightly faster, basically making just a slightly better version of Nita. That's first. His gadget, yes, is really useful, but often you can just cheese the gadget, as you can hit him, meanwhile he's using the gadget, which can actually kill him instead of healing him. Yeah, I don't find it that good. Also, yes, well, yes, the star powers are pretty good, I could say. Basically, his super is the only thing that makes me say that he shouldn't be a starting brawler. I mean, basically, an 8,000 trophy jump road for me would be pretty much the perfect thing for Sandy. As I really don't like his attack patterns. His super is alright, I guess, but really, just don't find him that good. Out of the two chromatic brawlers, between Gale and Surge, both are really good. But which one is better? Gale, obviously. I mean, he's pretty much OP at this point. Even though now he's at the rarity of a mythic brawler, and Surge is at the rarity of a legendary brawler. That makes absolutely no sense. but I kind of like it. This gadget is really useful and sometimes can look really goofy. Like, you can only access one part of the trampoline. Like, it's all completely hidden, which makes it pretty useful and at the same time pretty funny to look at. His attack patterns deal a lot of damage, and he reloads quite fast. Yeah, I think he was playing only for a legendary when they really forgot that he's actually supposed to be a mythic brawler at this point. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that before making the balance changes. Also, the super can sometimes be legitimately broken, especially with the star power that will freeze during the super. But the best part about the super is that it actually deals a little bit of damage. So, if you can't go, so the super can't go through walls, and you're literally in the showdown. And you're in showdown, and that character has less than 100 health, or maybe exactly 100 health points. Yeah, you can just hit him with the super, and then he's gone. You don't need to bother walking all the way to him. You can just run away. For super, he barely can. Okay, now let's see which one is the best brawler out of M, Rosa, Jackie, Frank, Tara, and Crow, and Gale, of course. While I do like them dealing a lot of damage, I don't like those OP brawlers that can pretty much just annihilate everyone. Because if we're just if we're just basing on how much damage they deal, then the best brawler would be Gale. But we're not basing off of that. We're basing off of multiple concepts. And the best one has to be Brawl, but barely. Mainly because he's not as overpowered as he doesn't have that much health and he doesn't have that many health points. But his killer bomb just barely is above. I mean, they would have pretty much been equal if Cross killer bomb would have been better. Like, he deals a lot of damage. Look, 5,600. 4,800, 5,600, 5,700. Yes, this deals so much damage. It's almost unbelievable. Yeah. To the point where Gale's killer bomb honestly looks like it's useless. And the Crash killer bomb is pretty much the best one out of all killer bombs. Also can be used to run away or go directly into a brawler and deal a lot of damage. Or maybe deal a little bit of damage, but then just straight up killing them. Anyways, as for the worst one, well, Third really isn't there because he's not an awful brawler. Well, it's pretty much between Sandy, Poco, and Brock. Which one is the worst one out of the three? Yeah. They're actually kind of hard to decide because Sandy has some pretty lame attack counters and his super is basically the only saving grace. Poco doesn't do that much damage and his super doesn't help him as much as other super attacks. And Brock pretty much is just way too slippery for me to actually like controlling him. His only saving grace being the damage. And Poco has to be the worst one because he doesn't have any saving grace. I guess you could say it's his gadget because it helps out, but it doesn't help out like a lot. And I just find him very much the well, yes, he still is a good brawler. I have to say that he is the worst one. He's the worst one, even though most of his skins are very good.
Not cool.
Okay. That was just for giggles. Kicks and giggles. This doesn't really help out that much. But the sound effect for that, yes, this does look pretty good. And this sounds pretty good. But yeah, I guess you can see that's basically the only saving grace for me actually preferring Poco to be scrapped. Okay, anyways, that is it with this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.